The girl I like is dating a scumbag boyfriend. He gambles, sleeps around, and abuses her, yet she firmly believes he's a good man. She grew tired of me standing up for her, accused me of sowing discord, and said I disgusted her. Later, when I stopped loving her, she begged me frantically to come back. 1. Evelyn got beaten up by that scumbag boyfriend of hers again. When she came crying to me, I rolled up my sleeves and said I'd go settle the score with Henry. She stopped me. No, he was just drunk. It was a momentary impulse. My heart ached for her, yet I was frustrated by her unwillingness to stand up for herself. How many times has he laid hands on you, and you're still defending him? Evelyn was crying her heart out, the strangulation marks on her neck painfully visible. But when he's not drunk, he's really good to me. Look at this bracelet on my wrist. He bought it specially for my birthday. He even cooked for me sometimes. I turn my gaze to that bracelet. TikTok Shop's bestseller, $9.90 with free shipping, but the quality is absolute trash. And the so-called cooking was just adding an egg to instant noodles. I don't understand. Evelyn came from a wealthy family, grew up pampered in luxury. Her parents gave her all their love, the finest elite education, and even I've treated her with complete devotion all these years, terrified she'd suffer the slightest hardship. Yet she could lose all reason over some worthless punk. I really want to shake some sense into her. A worthless bracelet and a half-hearted bowl of instant noodles. That's what you call being good to you? Evelyn, wake up. What on earth is worth clinging to about that scumbag? She defended him. You just don't understand him. He's not like us. His parents divorced when he was young, and he had a tough life, but his feelings for me are genuine. Genuine my ass. A piece of trash like him doesn't deserve to be loved at all. Evelyn's face darkened with anger, clearly displeased with me insulting her boyfriend. Her phone rang at that moment, and the caller ID showed it was Henry. Evelyn's expression instantly transformed into one of tenderness, as if flipping a switch. Honey, she cooed, but the voice on the other end was harsh. Evelyn, you're seeing that simp again, aren't you? Darling, don't be angry. I just need to pick something up from Daniel. I'm leaving right now. Evelyn ignored my pleas and hurriedly got up to leave. Just then, her mother arrived, followed by 2 others. Evelyn looked bewildered. Mom! Her mother's face was stern. Realizing what was happening, Evelyn turned to glare at me furiously. Daniel, how dare you tattle to my mom? I had no choice. Since she wouldn't listen to me, I had to call her mother. When her mother saw the bruises on her neck, her face turned pale. She said sharply, that boyfriend of yours did this, didn't he? Just wait till I call the police on him. Evelyn burst into tears, almost kneeling before her mother. Mom, please don't call the police. I did this to myself by accident. It has nothing to do with Henry. Starting today, you're moving back home. I'm taking back the apartment I gave you. Mom, I don't want to go home. But her mother wasn't one to be reasoned with, and sternly had people take her away. After Evelyn left, I was fuming with anger and drove off to find Henry. I found him at a roadside barbecue stall, drinking with a bunch of his worthless friends. I grabbed him by the collar and shouted, what the fuck? How dare you lay hands on her again? Are you even a man? Henry, caught in my grip, didn't seem to care at all. His cocky attitude only fueled my rage. He said with a punchable smirk, lay hands? What do you mean by that? You mean like this? He shoved the phone right under my nose and played a video. My breath hitched, as if someone had carved out a chunk of my heart with a knife. In the video, Evelyn was on her knees, her long hair yanked violently, her head forced up high. Her eyes were dazed, her voice fragmented as her body swayed unsteadily. 3. Henry sneered and patted my stunned face, leaning in to whisper in my ear, a spineless, groveling simp like you? She finds you utterly pathetic. See that? She loves it when I handle her like this. She's a goddess in your eyes, but to me, she's just a bitch in heat. Ha ha ha. His gang of thug friends burst into laughter along with him. I was absolutely furious and swung at him without thinking. Henry dodged slightly, and my fist grazed his nose. Seeing me take action, his lackeys swarmed in. Outnumbered, I was quickly overpowered and could only lie on the ground covering my head as they beat me. Henry suddenly coughed, and the beating stopped. Henry, what's wrong? Why are you bleeding from your nose? It was actually Evelyn. Even her own mother couldn't keep an eye on her. Henry wiped his nosebleed and said sarcastically, your little lapdog threatened to beat me to death to avenge you. Evelyn frantically searched for tissues to stop his bleeding, only noticing me after she was done. I curled up on the ground, unable to get up, but she showed no intention of helping me up. She clung to Henry, looking down at me with superiority. How many times do I have to tell you? What's between Henry and me is none of your business. I'm not a child anymore. Why does everyone keep interfering with my love life? Henry nibbled at Evelyn's ear, deliberately putting on this intimate display in front of me. Baby, this is already the 3rd time he's gonna pick a fight with me. I'm really fed up. Ugh, I don't know if my nose is broken or not. It hurts so much. Evelyn gently comforted Henry, saying she'd take him to the hospital right away for a checkup. Then she turned to look at me, her face filled with undisguised disgust. Daniel, what else can you do besides stirring up trouble? Who do you think you are to me? Your so-called concern without any boundaries or sense of propriety makes me sick. Henry curled his lips into a smirk. Hear that? My girlfriend says you're disgusting. So fuck off. With Evelyn in his arms, Henry turned away but still mouthed words at me over his shoulder. S-H-E-I-S-A-B-I-T-C-H. My rage reached its boiling point. I lunged forward and seized Henry by the throat with crushing force. My mind was consumed by a single thought. Today I'm going to beat this bastard to death. Evelyn screamed in shock. When she couldn't pry my arm loose, she didn't hesitate to grab a nearby beer bottle and swing it hard against my head. Before losing consciousness, a voice echoed in my mind. It's over. 4. I woke up in the hospital. My parents and Evelyn's parents were all there. Evelyn's mother had red-rimmed eyes and let out a long sigh of relief when she saw I was awake. Thank heavens, thank goodness Xiaochan is all right. Her father looked grim and apologized to my parents. Brother, sister-in-law, if anything happens to Daniel, I swear I'll beat that unfilial daughter of mine to death. My mother, heartbroken over me, couldn't help but voice some resentment in her words. All these years, how Daniel has treated your Evelyn, you've seen it with your own eyes. He gave her his whole heart, even more than her own father and I could. I truly don't understand what kind of hatred could drive someone to do this to him. To be honest, if she weren't your daughter, I would absolutely call the police and press charges. My father cleared his throat lightly, and only then did my mother reluctantly fall silent. Evelyn's father was so ashamed he could barely lift his head. Big brother, sister-in-law is right. It's all Evelyn's fault. After the incident, that damn girl ran off with that hoodlum and won't answer my or her mother's calls. Don't worry. Once I find her, I'll bring her straight here to Neil and apologize to Xiaochan. George, don't bother. I won't have anything to do with Evelyn anymore. Whether she apologizes or not doesn't matter. Everyone looked at me, momentarily unable to believe what they were hearing. Can't blame them for doubting. Evelyn and I grew up together since childhood. She was like the sun to me, an indispensable part of my life. I could unconditionally tolerate all her whims and mistakes. In the eyes of those around us, no matter who I cut ties with, I could never ignore Evelyn. My mother was utterly shocked. Son, are you serious? I find it truly unbelievable myself. I've known her for 20 years and loved her for 10, yet it feels like someone suddenly pressed the delete button. All those feelings vanished in an instant. Now when I think of Evelyn, there's not a ripple in my heart, no different from a complete stranger. The elders exchanged glances, but none of them spoke. They all thought I might not be fully conscious yet, scaring my mom so much she called the doctor back to examine me thoroughly. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, Evelyn's father actually brought her along. He dragged her by the arm, and she stood reluctantly in front of me. How could I have raised such a heartless, irresponsible daughter? Apologize to Daniel right now. Evelyn's eyes were rimmed red, and the tip of her nose was flushed. Clearly, she had been crying. In the past, the sight would have made my heart ache, but now I felt nothing inside. I watched her quietly. No matter what, she truly owed me an apology. To my surprise, she stiffened her neck and retorted stubbornly, "If I hadn't stopped you, Henry would be the one hurt right now." Her father was furious and scolded her harshly. "What Henry? Don't mention that scoundrel to me. Will you apologize or not? If not, I'll break your legs." I shook my head silently. Evelyn, she still refused to see the truth. "George, I told you, there's no need for this." Then I turned to my mother and said, "Mom, let's go." I didn't spare Evelyn another glance as I walked straight out. Her father tried to call me back, but I didn't turn around. I heard Evelyn muttering complaints. "See, I told you it wasn't necessary. Daniel would never blame me. Has he ever blamed me for anything since we were kids?" That's right. Since childhood, I never once blamed Evelyn, no matter how outrageous the things she did. Everyone around me believed that even if Evelyn were to stab me with a knife one day, my first concern would be whether the blood would stain her hands. But before my mother and I could walk far, we heard the sharp, crisp sound of a slap. Turning back, I saw Evelyn covering her face and crying. "Dad, you hit me. I'm beating you because you're such a worthless daughter. Listen to me. If you don't break up with that good-for-nothing soon, I'll disown you." "Fine, I'm worthless. So just pretend you never had a daughter then." Evelyn ran away from me, sobbing uncontrollably. That very same day, she moved in with Henry. Her parents were furious, lamenting the family's misfortune, and their home was once again thrown into chaos. But none of this had anything to do with me anymore. I had previously put my study abroad plans on hold, thinking I would stay in the country to be with Evelyn. Now, I needed to start planning all over again. Just as I was fully immersed and enthusiastically preparing all the procedures for studying abroad, Evelyn suddenly called me one day. She asked to borrow $300,000 from me right off the bat. "Daniel, my dad froze all my cards. I'm completely broke now. You have to help me." How utterly self-righteous. 300,000, of course I can afford it. But why should I lend it to her? I said coolly, "Aren't you living with your boyfriend now? Let him support you." Evelyn still didn't catch the detachment in my tone and earnestly explained Henry was scammed out of $100,000 at the casino. I want to help him pay it off. Then I plan to renovate this place. It's really too old. I can't stand living here anymore. Got scammed out of 100,000? Bullshit. It's just gambling losses, isn't it? Only a love-struck fool like Evelyn would believe Henry's nonsense. I flat out refused her. "No, I can't lend you money." Evelyn looked utterly shocked. "Your card got frozen too?" I find it amusing. I've made myself so clear, yet she still doesn't get what I mean. Then again, I used to cherish and care for her so much. How could she possibly imagine there'd come a day when I'd stop loving her? In her mind, I, Daniel, would forever stand behind her, playing the pitiful role of a devoted lapdog, always at her beck and call, ready to give whatever she demanded. What I mean is, I'm not your anything. I don't want to lend you this money. Silence was the only response I received. After a long pause, Evelyn suddenly let out a cold laugh. Fine, Daniel. So you've learned to sulk now, huh? Good, very good. Let's see who's more stubborn then. The call ended abruptly. I knew exactly what she was thinking. She was certain I'd be the first to yield, because that's exactly what I'd done every single time before. This time, she was going to be disappointed. 7. When I went to apply for my visa, I bumped into a girl head-on, and the documents in both our hands scattered all over the floor. I quickly apologized and crouched down to pick them up, only to discover, to my surprise, that she was going to the same university as me. I looked up, pleasantly startled. You going to this school too? That's when I got a clear look at her face, and I froze for a moment. This girl was truly beautiful. Evelyn was already very pretty, but she wasn't the slightest bit inferior to Evelyn. She also glanced at my profile and gave a faint smile, 2 small dimples faintly appearing at the corners of her mouth. Yeah, what a coincidence. Her name was Irene, and surprisingly, we even attended the same university. She was just 1 year below me. I grinned. So you're my junior then. Irene had a cheerful personality. As we reminisced about our alma mater, we unexpectedly ended up talking for quite a while. It just happened to be mealtime, and Irene offered to treat me to a meal. It's rare to run into you, senior. Surely we can have a meal together? After all, we'll be attending the same school. Soon I'll be counting on your guidance, she said. I replied that it was only natural and insisted on treating her instead. She chose a Japanese restaurant. We parked the car and had just reached the entrance when we heard a familiar voice behind us. I was speechless. Talk about bad luck running into them. Henry, I haven't had Japanese food in ages. Let's get some for lunch today. Babe, Japanese food is ridiculously expensive. It's not worth it, but it's only a few $100 per person. Be good. Let's not eat out for now. Get your parents to unblock your card first. Then I won't object even if you want to eat out 100 times. I rolled my eyes inwardly. Cheapskate. Evelyn and Henry were just a dozen meters behind me. When I turned around, they noticed me too. 8. Henry glanced at me first, then his eyes lit up when he spotted Irene beside me. As a man myself, I could see right through his filthy thoughts. I subtly stepped in front of Irene, but Evelyn blurted out, Irene. The person beside me smiled faintly. Senior Evelyn. I was stunned. You know each other? Aileen explained with a smile. Evelyn and I were both in the dance club back in college. Of course we know each other. Dance club? During university, I attended every performance Evelyn had in the club, yet I strangely had no memory of Aileen. But then it occurred to me, whenever Evelyn was present, all my attention was focused solely on her. Naturally, I wouldn't have noticed anyone else. Evelyn pouted and said coquettishly, Daniel, you've been ignoring me for days. Are you still mad at me? I couldn't be bothered to talk much with her, so my response was somewhat perfunctory. Just busy. If there's nothing important, let's not talk. We're about to have dinner. This we, of course, referred to me and Irene. Evelyn's expression immediately darkened, and the look she gave Irene suddenly carried a hint of displeasure. Tell me the truth. Have you been acting so strangely lately because of her? I was done with her. She really didn't take the incident where she split my head open seriously at all. Even if I was once willing to be your lapdog, Evelyn, a lapdog's life is still a life. Evelyn, I'm ignoring you simply because I'm tired. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Evelyn grew even more frantic upon hearing this. Tired? Daniel, do you realize what you're saying? Me, Evelyn, the Evelyn who grew up with you, and now you're saying you're sick of me. I knew her temperament well. Once she started making a scene, there was no stopping her, so I signaled for Irene to quickly come inside with me. Unexpectedly, Evelyn grabbed Irene by the sleeve. Don't you dare leave. Explain yourselves. Daniel, you won't even lend me $300,000 now, and you're talking to me like this. What the hell do you mean by that? Irene, you're absolutely shameless. Before Irene could even react, I was already burning with shame. I used to see Evelyn through rose-tinted childhood memories. Nothing she did ever seemed excessive to me. But seeing her today, she's clearly just plain crazy. Evelyn, if you're sick, go home with your useless trash of a boyfriend. Don't embarrass yourself out here. Evelyn froze completely when I shouted at her. Her big eyes filled with disbelief, then welled up with tears. This was hard for her to accept, because in all the years we'd known each other, it was the first time I'd ever spoken harshly to her. Her eyes glared, brimming with resentment and anger. You're yelling at me for an outsider? Daniel, you actually yelled at me for another woman. 9. Henry finally managed to tear his lustful gaze away from Irene, at least for the moment. Who the hell are you calling trash? You, that's who. Just as tensions between me and Henry were escalating again, Irene suddenly let out a light laugh. Everyone's attention was drawn to her. Irene said softly, if you can't even take your girlfriend out for Japanese food, you can hardly call yourself a decent boyfriend. It has to be said, her words packed quite a punch. Even a scoundrel like Henry flushed red. Evelyn was practically fuming when she saw the man she loved looking as if he wished the ground would swallow him whole. Her willow leaf brows shot up as she planted her hands on her hips and screamed, what the hell do you know? Who are you to judge my boyfriend? Irene, have you always been jealous of me? First, you seduce Daniel and drive a wedge between us, and now you humiliate my boyfriend. How fucking low can you get? Her pretty features twisted into something ugly and hateful as she spewed filth from her mouth. Suddenly, I couldn't understand what I'd ever seen in her. Evelyn's voice grew louder, completely unconcerned that people on the street had begun to gather and watch. My boyfriend may not have money now, but so what? That doesn't mean... Slap. A heavy-handed blow struck her face, startling everyone present. Evelyn staggered and fell awkwardly to the ground. Henry pointed at her angrily and shouted, "Shut the hell up! Who says I don't have money?" Evelyn covered her face, forgetting even to cry as she stared blankly at Henry. If I remember correctly, this should be the first time Henry hit her while sober and not drunk. And he did it in public too. This time, she didn't even have an excuse to defend him. 10. Standing next to you is fucking embarrassing. Henry threw out these words and left, completely ignoring Evelyn, who was still sitting on the ground. Evelyn bit her lip as she watched Henry walk away, tears flooding down her face. I grabbed Irene's hand and immediately turned to enter the restaurant. I'm sorry. No matter how you look at it, because of me, she ended up getting scolded for no reason. Evelyn and I really were childhood friends, but there were some unpleasant things between us. Senpai. Irene interrupted me. Does Evelyn senpai like you? I nearly choked on my own saliva. Impossible. She's in love with that scumbag boyfriend of hers. So much that she'd disregard everything. So much that she'd try to kill me for his sake. Aileen chuckled lightly. But when she saw us together, regardless of her motives, she was clearly jealous. Huh? Jealous? For me? I was about to retort when she added, "All right, let's not talk about her anymore. Hurry up and eat." Perhaps it's better not to discuss it. Otherwise, I really wouldn't know how to talk about what's between me and Evelyn. What I didn't expect was that after we left, Evelyn was still waiting at the door. She quickly stood up when she saw me. Seeing this, Irene took the initiative to say, "Senior, I'll be going first then." To be honest, this girl really has good emotional intelligence. I apologized to her. All right, I might as well take this chance to clear things up with Evelyn once and for all. After Irene left, Evelyn clung to my arm, shaking it. Daniel, her eyes were red, her voice soft and fragile. Just like countless times before, when she was upset, wronged, or scolded by her parents. She came to me for comfort, knowing I'd always keep my arms open for her. What a pity. The scene remains the same, but the people are no more. The Daniel who loved Evelyn for 10 years is gone. Under my indifferent gaze, Evelyn began to grow uneasy. Daniel, I know you're just still angry. Angry that I didn't listen to you. Angry that I hit you for Henry's sake. Please don't be mad anymore, okay? This time, I'll be the first to lower my head. I'm apologizing to you. Evelyn was yielding to me. This was truly a maiden riding in a bridal sedan, a first-time experience. 11. I silently shook off her hand. She cried. I admit I went too far that day. I was just so terrified when I saw you choking Henry like your life depended on it. I didn't think at all. I really didn't mean to hurt you. Please don't ignore me, okay? Woo-woo. Henry treats me like this, and now you're doing the same. I really feel like the sky is falling. Back when Henry used to hit her, she could still find warmth and comfort with me. Now that I'm no longer offering that, she feels like something's missing, doesn't she? I corrected her. I'm not like your boyfriend. Whether you two are having a conflict that lasts half a day, or a full day, or playing some SM games, it's none of my business. But from now on, I'm absolutely not going to keep offering kindness that gets coldly rejected anymore. Hearing me say this, Evelyn panicked. Daniel, don't be like this. This side of you feels so unfamiliar to me. Have you forgotten? You promised you'd always protect me. I did say that, but you also said you don't need someone like me by your side. That I annoy you, that I'm meddling, that I disgust you. No, that was just me being angry. I really can't live without you. Please don't do this, okay? I shook my head, refusing outright. Evelyn suddenly became resolute. I've just realized something. Henry and I really aren't compatible, just like you said. He doesn't respect me at all. I won't make excuses for his awful behavior anymore, and I'll never have anything to do with him again. I remained unmoved. Sorry, but with your track record, it's really hard to believe you. Seeing my disbelief, Evelyn called Henry right in front of me. Henry, you're a fucking scumbag, a woman-beating piece of trash, a loser who'll never amount to anything. I'm officially telling you right now, we're done. Go die. With that, she decisively hung up the phone. I'll have someone move my things from his place today. I'm going back home, and we'll never see Henry again. Daniel, I'll listen to you. Starting today, I'll stay far away from him. Can we go back to how he used to be? 12. I looked at Evelyn, confused again. There had been times when Henry hit her worse than this. But no matter how much I tried to reason with her, she never said a bad word about him, let alone broke up with him. Now I don't care about her anymore, yet her attitude has done a complete 180. As if possessed, I suddenly recalled Irene's words from earlier. Does she like you, or something? She's jealous, I scoffed. Impossible. After 10 years of devotion without winning her affection, how could she possibly start liking me now that I've stopped? At most, it's just Evelyn's possessiveness acting up. After all, a guardian of her caliber like me has long been taken for granted as someone who'd always protect and dote on her. I said calmly, if you two really break up, then congratulations on getting away from that scumbag. But as for us, let's just stay ordinary friends from now on. Evelyn jolted violently, unable to utter another word. With that, I left. Evelyn had truly made up her mind this time. She went home and obediently apologized to her parents, then deleted all the photos with Henry from her social media and posted a singlehood declaration. At the end of the declaration, she added, "Some loves might be mistakes, but the affection from childhood is undoubtedly the truest. I'll reclaim what belongs to me, because he was always meant to be mine. TSK TSK. Seems like there's a bit too much drama." Evelyn was sentimental, constantly sending me long, emotional messages day and night, reminiscing about every little detail of our past. I was utterly annoyed and blocked her outright. On my birthday, Irene called me. "Happy birthday, senior." I was a bit surprised. "How did you know?" "I saw it when we were getting our visas that day." "Oh, well, haha, thank you. Got any plans today?" I honestly said no. "Perfect. Last time I was supposed to treat you, but you ended up paying instead. How about giving me a chance this time, birthday boy?" I wanted to say no, but Irene was insistent, first saying a girl's invitation shouldn't be refused, then mentioning how I'd need to look out for her during her future studies abroad. In the end, I had no choice but to agree. 13. To be honest, I might have never had a truly open conversation with any girl other than Evelyn. Eileen was like an old friend of many years. There was never a moment of awkwardness when talking to her. We talked about philosophy, music, games, and the tragic childhood experiences of being chased by dogs. No matter the topic, she always seemed to understand me perfectly. Many times, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. I haven't been truly happy since Evelyn got together with Henry a year ago. Before I knew it, 4 or 5 hours had already passed. When I walked her home that night, I sincerely thanked her. She mysteriously pulled out a palm-sized, exquisitely wrapped gift from her bag. "Senior, this is for you, but don't open it now. Wait until you get home." I smiled and agreed. When I got home, Evelyn was curled up on the couch watching TV, wearing my shirt, startling me. "You're back. I've been waiting for you forever." She was completely at ease, while I was utterly speechless. Evelyn has always known my door passcode. She can come to my place whenever she wants. The first time Henry hit her, she came to my place and cried half the night. I remember I was practically itching to kill that bastard that night. Ended up getting into a brutal fight with Henry. Early the next morning, while I was still getting bandaged at the hospital, she was called back by Henry with just one phone call, without even telling me. That was the first time I felt like a complete idiot for going all out for her. Evelyn ran to the dining table, exclaiming excitedly, "Taught a birthday cake. Happy 25th birthday to my knight, Daniel. May you have many more years like this one." Knight was what she called me. She once said she was a princess, and I would always be the knight protecting her. Whether Evelyn didn't notice or pretended not to see my helpless, displeased expression, she loudly urged me to come over quickly. "I've been waiting for you on an empty stomach. Come quickly." I set down the gift Irene had given me, standing motionless in the shadow of the doorway. "Evelyn, between us, things can't go back to how they were before. Your knight is leaving." 14. Evelyn acted as if she hadn't heard, fishing out a lighter to light the candles. "The candles are lit. Come blow them out and make a wish." She had her back to me, so I couldn't see her expression. I said it again. "You really don't have to be like this." Evelyn, who had seemed happy just a second ago, suddenly turned vicious and slammed the lighter hard onto the ground. "Enough. That's enough." She turned abruptly, her face already streaked with tears. As if venting, she poured out all the words buried in her heart directly at me. "Daniel, I was in a failed relationship. I didn't listen to you in time. But I'm suffering too. On one side is my boyfriend. On the other is my childhood friend. What exactly do you expect me to do? If you still resent me for hitting you, then go ahead and hit me back. Take your shot at me. Consider it repayment, alright? I don't understand. You weren't like this before. You'd never have dreamed of giving me the cold shoulder, ignoring me, speaking harshly to me, much less treating me like a stranger. Why, just why?" She became hysterical, finally breaking down into loud sobs. I sighed. "I'm sorry, but we really can't go back to how things were." Evelyn stopped crying, her eyes brimming with malice. "You were gone all afternoon. You were out with Irene, weren't you? What does she even have that you like? Tell me the truth. Did you deliberately seek her out to provoke me? I refuse to believe you actually like her. Aside from being slightly prettier, what does she have that I don't?" A headache was coming on, and I simply didn't have the energy to deal with her anymore. I showed her the door. "It's my private matter, and I don't need to report to you. I want to rest now, so please leave." Evelyn kept nodding and started rambling again. "I get it. You're getting back at me. You've never been happy about me being with Henry. Now you're finding an Irene to retaliate in the same way, aren't you?" I was speechless again. Has she been watching too many soap operas or something? "Daniel, let me tell you, today is the last chance I'm giving you. If you keep acting this cold, we'll never speak again for the rest of our lives. Don't come crying to me when you regret it." 15. Well, so all this time, it was actually her giving me chances. I smiled. "I don't need this opportunity anymore, thanks." Evelyn was left speechless by my words. Finally, with no other option, she stormed off. Just as she reached the door, she suddenly stopped again. "Daniel, what's with the attitude? You always look down on Henry, but at least when he apologizes, he means it. He calls me every day to say sorry, sends me gifts to make me happy. And you? What happened to the man who promised to always cherish and spoil me?" You think Henry and I won't work out? Just wait and see. I'm gonna get back with him. I'll prove it to you, to my parents, to everyone, that my choice isn't wrong. You think he's a loser? Just wait. One day, my boyfriend will make you eat your words. Me. Because of Evelyn's outburst, the gift Irene gave me was left forgotten on the hallway shelf, still unopened. But true to her word, she actually got back together with Henry. She had another huge fight with her parents and moved out of the house. It made her mother so angry that her heart condition flared up again. I don't understand, but I'm utterly shocked. Let her be. As the day of going abroad drew nearer, I started contacting Irene more frequently. We talked on the phone, starting with matters about going abroad, and gradually the conversation turned to university days. Actually, when I first entered university, there was a period when I nearly fell into depression. Come on, a pretty girl like you should be confident and cheerful. Walk with swagger, look down your nose at people. What, you don't agree? I'm the prettiest, damn it. Puffed. She burst out laughing at my antics, then suddenly changed the subject. You haven't opened the gift I gave you yet, have you? Huh, damn it, I forgot. But how did she know? But she fell silent, just smiling as she bid me goodnight. I was about to unwrap the gift when my mom called me again, because my family and Evelyn's live in the same villa community. When you're this close, some news becomes impossible to avoid. What's more, this was absolutely explosive news. Evelyn was pregnant. Evelyn had boldly brought her scumbag boyfriend home with her. From what my mom said, the two of them were planning to use the baby in her belly to force her parents to compromise. Either accept Henry or reinstate Evelyn's credit card. Evelyn's parents were already humiliated by their daughter eloping with a troublemaker. But who could have imagined that now these two would actually use their unborn child as leverage to come and threaten them directly? What kind of man was Evelyn's father? There was no way he'd let himself be threatened by these two. He immediately threatened to beat Henry to death. Evelyn stepped forward to shield Henry. She even shouted, "No matter how much you dislike him, he's still the father of my child. If you want to hit him, then just kill all three of us." Her father ultimately couldn't bring himself to do it, roaring at them to get out. Before Evelyn left, she still wanted to take the household register, saying she was going to get married. She absolutely couldn't let the child be born without a name or status. Her mother nearly fainted from crying on the spot. In the end, her father had the housekeeper chase them out with a broom. My mother sighed heavily on the phone. Evelyn was such a well-behaved and sensible girl when she was little. How did she turn out like this when she grew up? What kind of love potion did that hoodlum boyfriend of hers feed her? Now she's pregnant before marriage. Your uncle and aunt's faces are completely shamed. I remained silent. Perhaps in Evelyn's heart, Henry was the rebellious, untamed male lead from a romantic drama, and the two of them were destined to overcome all obstacles and societal disapproval to eventually live a blissful, happy life together. Truthfully, I could accept that she didn't love me and chose someone else. But she had to throw away her best years for a scumbag, cutting ties with her parents, ruining her future, spending her days just joyriding, drinking, bragging, and playing housemaid to a man in some tiny apartment. Now she's even pregnant. With my mom's phone call interrupting me, I forgot about Irene's gift again. 17. With only a few days left before going abroad, my mom came over to help me pack while nagging like a broken record. Honestly, because of that Evelyn girl, you've grown so old without even dating anyone. Now at your age, you're still going abroad to study. Tell me, when will you finally bring a daughter-in-law home for me? I ignored her, scrolling through videos on my phone. The next second, Irene's video call came through. I ran into the bedroom, making sure to close the door behind me. "Senior, I need to run some errands in the northern suburbs today, but my car is under the license plate restriction. Could you be my chauffeur for the day?" We'd grown much more comfortable around each other by now. I smiled slightly. "It would be my pleasure. I'm at XX Hospital. Just visited a friend. Come pick me up here directly." Okay. I had just hung up when I noticed my mother grinning mischievously at me. "Who were you video calling, you rascal?" I sighed helplessly. "Just an alumna. When did you come in? You should knock." "Lena, eavesdropping isn't proper behavior. I just got here not long ago, and I did knock. It's not my fault you didn't hear it." All right. Let's get serious. Where did you meet this girl? What does she do? How old is she?" Worn down by my mom's persistence, I had no choice but to come clean with her. She listened with frequent nods of approval. Before I left, she issued her final command. "This girl seems good. You'd better not let her slip away." Me? Yeah, ma'am. All right, I won't pretend anymore. Actually, I was thinking the same thing. When I arrived at the hospital and was waiting for Irene in the lobby, sudden commotion erupted behind me. Several medical staff rushed past, pushing an emergency gurney, and the crowd quickly made way. During the shift handover, the medical staff shouted, "The patient is 4 months pregnant with severe vaginal bleeding. Emergency surgery must be arranged immediately." At that moment, I finally got a clear look at the person lying on the bed. It was Evelyn, 18 years old, her face deathly pale, eyes tightly shut from pain. My heart lurched. How could she be bleeding so heavily? Why wasn't Henry with her? Before I could react, she was already being rushed into the emergency room. "Senior, what are you looking at?" Turning around, I saw Irene had arrived. When I told her about Evelyn's situation, her expression turned grave too. "Then hurry up and notify her parents." I nodded. This was no time for games. Family members absolutely needed to be present. Poor Evelyn's parents, who hadn't even recovered from the shock of their daughter's previous forced pregnancy, were now dealt another devastating blow. The two of them stood outside the operating room with red-rimmed eyes, looking as though they'd aged at least 10 years. During the surgery, the doctor brought out a critical condition notice for the family to sign. Her father managed to sign with restrained composure, while her mother broke down into loud sobs. "That damned Henry has ruined my daughter." I supported her to prevent her from collapsing as she clutched onto me tightly. "Daniel, why isn't Evelyn with you? A good boy like you would never bear to see her suffer so much, would never let her come to this." I had no words to reply. Since Evelyn had lost too much blood and the surgery's end time was uncertain, I told Ling to go home first. The thoughtful girl bought us water and food before leaving. After waiting for what felt like hours, when the doctor finally came out to announce Evelyn was out of danger, everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. But the baby in her belly was gone. Evelyn's parents weren't sad about it. They were actually glad there wasn't a child. After Evelyn woke up, whether it was her pitiful pride or not, she refused to speak at first. Later, when her mother cried and pressured her, she finally explained what had happened. Sure enough, it was that scumbag Henry again. Back when Evelyn had money to spend on him, he at least pretended to be decent. Now that Evelyn's broke, he's completely shown his true colors, spending every day either drinking or gambling, even fooling around with different women. Evelyn, pregnant and all, does the grocery shopping, cooking, and housework every day, yet Henry doesn't give her a cent. This morning they got into another fight, and Henry lashed out violently again, not caring at all that she's carrying his child. After Evelyn started bleeding from her lower body, Henry actually just walked away, leaving her to endure the pain and call an ambulance herself. After saying all this, she finally couldn't hold back and burst into tears. "Daniel, I was wrong. I shouldn't have ignored your advice back then. Henry is nothing but a complete liar and bastard." 19. Her mother listened while crying, and by the end had become a complete mess of tears. "Evelyn, your father and I are getting old. We really can't take these scares anymore. Come home, okay? Stop fighting us." Her father gritted his teeth in anger. "I'll never forgive that bastard." But Evelyn just kept looking at me. Now, I finally understand. Being with Henry was a mistake from the very beginning. I thought I was different, that I could change him. But scum like him don't deserve anyone's love. "Daniel, everything you told me back then was right." Evelyn grew increasingly agitated as she spoke, crying uncontrollably. "When I was unconscious, I had a dream about us playing house as children. I was the bride, you were the groom. You promised to protect me forever, to make me happy, to bring me joy. Do you remember?" "Of course I remember. How could I forget? But what's the point of saying all this now?" I sighed. "You should rest first. Don't think about these things now." "No." Evelyn tried to sit up in agitation when she saw me about to leave, making her parents quickly hold her down in alarm. "Daniel, don't go. I'm afraid if you leave now, you'll never look back. I truly know I was wrong. I'm begging you. Can't we be like before? I'll never let anyone insult or hit you again. Please don't go." Evelyn was crying so loudly that it attracted a nurse. "The patient just had surgery. Family members, please be careful not to get her too agitated." I had no choice but to say, "Let's not talk about this now. We'll discuss it after you're discharged." "Daniel, don't go. From now on, I'll be the one protecting you. I'll be the one caring for you, okay? I'm begging you, don't abandon me." Evelyn even tried to get out of bed to chase after me, so I quickly slipped out. When I came out, I was surprised to find Irene standing at the door. "Irene, how long have you been here?" "Not long. How is your senior doing?" I shook my head. "You must have heard it too." She fell silent, as if gathering her courage for a long moment. "Senior, the day to go abroad is in 2 days. Are you still going?" I could hear the hesitation and worry in her tone, and couldn't help but laugh. "Silly, why would you even ask? Of course I'm going." Eileen's tense shoulders relaxed instantly upon hearing my words. Then she feigned anger. "Senior, why are you calling me an idiot? I think you're the dumb one. You still haven't looked at the birthday present I gave you, have you?" Oh, I'd nearly forgotten again if she hadn't mentioned it. I fished something out of my pocket. A tiny crystal ball. Eileen's eyes lit up. "So you took it apart?" "Yeah, I was wondering. I couldn't find my crystal ball anywhere later. Turns out it ended up with you." "Well, you forgot about it yourself. Not my fault." "Yes, now I remember. This gift was something I once personally gave to Irene, and now she's returned it to me. It was 20-year-old Daniel who gave it to 19-year-old Irene. 20, I was particularly depressed during that period, feeling like I was developing depressive tendencies, hiding behind the library to cry for hours every day. Coincidentally, I liked memorizing vocabulary behind the library, and for several days in a row, you kept disturbing me. I got irritated. I truly couldn't understand what could possibly make a perfectly fine college student cry every single day. Senior, so you were originally planning to settle scores with me? How was that settling scores? Didn't I keep comforting you afterward? You even said you cried too ugly and told me not to look at you, which is why I didn't remember you. Your way of comforting people is hardly commendable, but there's one line I've always remembered. Which one? You said, "Find your son, and perhaps there won't be shadows in your life anymore." You even threw this thing at me and said it was mine now. The condition was that I must never disturb your vocabulary drills again. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Fate works in mysterious ways. It had already connected Irene and me 5 years ago. I thought I would forever suffer in matters of the heart. Turns out, fate never shortchanged me after all. According to my mom, Evelyn is out of danger now and just needs to rest. That scumbag Henry is trying to make his presence felt again. He actually had the nerve to threaten Evelyn with her private videos, demanding $500,000 or he'd leak them online. Evelyn's father was just about to deal with him when the bastard walked right into the line of fire. Call the police, sue, compensate, go to jail, a full package deal was served to him. Before that scumbag was locked up, he was still screaming to see Evelyn. Of course, all of this happened after I had already gone abroad. On the day I left with Irene, Evelyn actually chased us all the way to the airport. Her mother said in anguish, "That wretched girl threatened to jump off the building if we didn't come. Her father and I are absolutely furious with her." Evelyn hadn't fully recovered yet, her face pale, her petite frame swallowed by an oversized trench coat. I want to talk to Daniel alone. My mother had no choice but to signal with her eyes for me to keep an eye on Evelyn and make sure not to upset her. Eileen nodded understandingly. "Are you really leaving?" "MHM, if I said I could go study abroad with you, that I could be with you for everything and all the days to come, could we?" "No." Evelyn instantly broke down, large teardrops falling one after another. "Evelyn, what's past is past. Let's both move forward." Evelyn covered her mouth and simply shook her head. I knew she truly regretted it, that she genuinely wanted to be with me. But now I'm holding another girl's hand, ready to embrace a new life. The love we once had was real, and so is the fact that it's gone now. She should have her own new life too. At the last moment before security check, Evelyn was still clutching my arm excitedly, refusing to let me go. Irene said to let her try. Miraculously, after just a few minutes of talking, Evelyn stopped crying and just stared at me blankly. On the plane, I asked Irene what exactly she had said to Evelyn. She just smiled. Confidential, 21 Irene's side story. At 19, I fell for a boy. The only pity was he liked another girl. I heard they were childhood sweethearts, and I refused to accept it. The girl is in the dance club, so I joined the dance club too. This way I could have many chances to see him, but then I sadly realized he truly loves her. I'm just a passerby who can't even catch his eye. I hid these feelings, yet couldn't help constantly following his updates. After graduation, I still used every means possible to find out about his current situation. When I heard he planned to study abroad alone in country A, I was overjoyed. 5 years had passed, yet I still couldn't let him go. I decided to give myself one chance. I quit my job and applied to the same university as him. I waited at the visa office and deliberately bumped into him. Perhaps the gears of fate had already begun turning from that crystal ball story. The voice on the phone was unpleasant. "Evelyn, off to see that simp of yours again? Gee, she used to be his son, and he was mine. I thought I would never get another chance." Turns out fate hadn't been unfair to me after all. At the airport, I asked Evelyn, "Do you love Daniel?" Though weakened, Evelyn still looked at me with undisguised hostility. "Of course, we grew up together. What would an outsider like you know? Are you really in love with him, or just addicted to the emotional support he provides?" She tried to argue, but I didn't give her the chance. Back in junior year, when Daniel sprained his ankle playing basketball, you ignored him for a whole week just because he couldn't take you to that out-of-town concert. At graduation, Daniel wanted to take you abroad for studies, but you refused to go and kept dragging him down from leaving too. You fell in love, fully aware it would hurt him to see you with someone else, yet you kept provoking him daily. You even let him get beaten to a pulp when he stood up for you. He has stomach issues. Drinking cold soy milk gives him diarrhea. He gets occasional headaches, and his throat inflames during seasonal changes. Did you even know any of this? You keep boasting about your childhood bond, but have you ever truly cared? Notice these things? Would you ever bother to learn them? He treats you like a princess, but to me, you're just a spoiled brat who's utterly selfish, forever obsessed with your own whims and emotions. Evelyn looked at Daniel, stunned. I'd said my piece. On the plane, Daniel asked me what I'd told Evelyn, but I didn't tell him. No point now, right? The breathtaking view at 10,000 meters unfolded before us as Daniel and I interlaced our fingers, Avril Lavigne's sweet yet edgy voice streaming through our headphones. "Sorry girl, but you missed out? Tough luck, that boy's mine now. Evelyn, you're out of the game." End.